Hello, loves. It's Hills from the Blue Flame Apothecary. Before I start, I had a couple of comments about my sound, and I know the volume has been a little bit of a thing for me. I just wanted to let you know I'm trying a new recording method with this video, and hopefully it works out better and it doesn't pick up too much background. I'm still finagling around the edges with the loud that is San Francisco's Mission District and recording these beautiful energy updates for us and working out so you can hear me and not too much of what's going on outside, but of course that is part of the frequency as well. In my last update and in the Cosmic Light Drops update for this Virgo new moon cycle that we're currently in, I promised I promised to come back and speak about the energies, Adam and Eve kind of energies that are really flowing right now in the chart. It's a couple of days now since the new moon, and I kept feeling in, is this the day? Is this the day to record this transmission? And it kept not being the day. It kept not being the day. And today, the 30th of August, it's the day. The story that I've been called to kind of facilitate this transmission around is Trinity energy. And the way that it's being templated in the astrology right now is through air grand trines. As we start to move into the energy, let's begin with this idea of what does it mean an air grand trine? What is this air all about? And a way to feel into it is air is your mental body. It's your communication. It's how you think, how you perceive things. Your internal dialogue and your external dialogue. Not so much like sense of self in that ego way, that's more fire. It's more etherical than that in a way. They're tied together as all the elements are, of course, but this is more, that's a good way to bridge it. It's in that space where, if you think of fire as something that's fuel, right? That's creation energy. So we just kind of left that, and it's still active. There's a lot of stuff still in Leo, but we're moving into that place where it's that oxygen that fuels the creation. So one way to feel into this is what we were talking about in that last update, your thoughts and words creating the world around you. You can feel into that as the air, the oxygen that fuels the fire, which is that creation energy. So if we have an air grand trine, then we're looking at elements being, or in this case, asteroids and planets being in each of the three air signs, which are Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, that's easy. We've been talking about Aquarius for a while because Saturn has taken up residence there. And sitting with Saturn is one of the asteroids named for Adam. It's the Adam's asteroid. And Adam has 2 asteroids. His other asteroid is in Libra, part of that trine. So it's really interesting because there's actually, with the same energy, there's 2 air grand trines happening right now. One of them is a little wobbly in that it's out of sign. I'm going to pause for a moment and feel how it's going to best serve, how to bring us into this energy in the best possible way. It feels like Mars, who is, I talked about Mars in the last energy update, and Mars is going to be a common thread. I think almost any energy worker who also talks in these archetypal planetary body astrology ways is going to be talking about Mars, because Mars is doing amazing work in breaking down our relationship to the way that we speak and communicate and how we express ourselves over the next 7 months. And sitting right with Mars in Gemini right now, and this is an asteroid, so likely they're going to be partying together through this entire 7 months, depending on how quick her asteroid moves. And it's Eve. Her asteroid is named Eva. And one of the ways that I have been feeling called to explore the Trinity has to do with Eve and Lilith. Eve and Lilith. We had a lot of Lilith energy in June, and her energy is still very, very strong. And one of the stories that she kind of led me to through all of that transitioning is we have separated Lilith and Eve into 2 different beings in our stories. And in some ways, we are being asked to join them back together. To realize that perhaps they're not actually different from one another. It is their stories that were split. And we find this as a common theme throughout all of our stories. Wherever you go, whatever culture you go to, there is a splitting apart of one energy, into 2 or sometimes many. You look at Sedna, and Sedna was hacked apart, much like Osiris. Sophia is also split in 2. And there was a lot of energy around Sophia over this new moon. She's actually part of one of the grand trines. Let's look at the trines. So the first one that we have, and this is part of the reason it feels like today was the day, because today the moon has entered Libra. The moon is in an almost exact trine to where Saturn and Adams are in Aquarius, and to where Sophia and Pallas Athena are. in Gemini. If you rotate just a little bit, then you find Eve and Mars over there in Gemini. It's a pretty decent split between Sophia and Eva. So we don't normally, especially with asteroids, call that conjunct. But it's interesting, isn't it, that a slight rotation and you get another air trine. This time it's Mars and Eva almost exactly trine to Mercury in Libra, and they're making an out of sign trine to Pluto and Isa, who we talked a lot about in the last energy update. Interestingly, Adam, the other Adam asteroid, the one that's in Libra, is in a near exact square to Isa and Pluto. So I love playing with these just ever so slight rotations, because you start to really feel the multidimensional layering effect of our cosmos. It's not one story all the way through. It's all these different stories, and each one threads to the other one in ever finer and wider displays of light. We're talking about trinities. What if, let's just play, follow me if you can on this one. What if Lilith and Eve are the same? And the creative potential in that line was so great that it was split into but we started with one. And okay, here we go. This has been a really interesting update to weave together, and I have a feeling it's going to be continuing to develop and flow over the next couple of few months. We're gonna go into this with Sophia and that story that's in the cosmic light drops, and I think I went into it a bit in the last energy update. One of her stories is she and her brother are beings of light. In some ways, they're considered the male and female aspects of God. And they are in that let there be light, first moment of creation. Sophia and her brother are playing and dancing and weaving in this light. And Sophia sees a little glimmer shimmer of light and follows it, thinking it's more of this exact same creation energy, this light, but finds that it's something different. It's something else. And in her desire to return to her brother, and in, you could say, loneliness, a sense of abandonment. How did I get here? Where am I? She creates a son for herself. So you could say she splits herself in two. All of the fear and anger and loneliness that she was feeling goes into this son that she created, who then from that place creates the earth. And all of the pain and suffering that exists on the planet is an embodiment of that pain and anger and separation and grief, fear. Sophia's lighter aspect of self, the aspect that holds the more love frequency, we could say, is able to continue to elevate her consciousness until she's able to return to that light space, that first place, that enlightened state. But the other half of her, her son, is still there, and he creates the human being. And in that creation of Adam, Sophia hides consciousness. Sophia hides consciousness within Adam, and then creates Eve from him, where she hides the knowledge. She hides knowledge within Eve. This is that first split, right? Sophia was one. She split herself in two and created a son for herself. We can see this in the story of Inanna and her sister, or in the story of Persephone and Hades. There's all these places where a feminine energy has split in two in order to experience. And there's been much demonization, right? Of this, oh, well, we all left light. We all left perfection, the Garden of Eden, because of the feminine's curiosity and quest for knowledge. But what if we can feel into, and we can, this is the mental body, right? So we get to play around with the way that we think about these things. We get to say, wait, that's how the story's been told. That's what has been communicated to us. But what if we look at these stories as a way of showing us that we were all once light that desired the experience of embodiment to further the knowledge. One aspect of that story of Sophia is that when she returned, when her energy returned to that place of light, it was in that crone state. Yeah, triple goddess, there's that Trinity, right? It was in that, she was taking with her all of that accumulated knowledge, and Sophia means wisdom. It's, oh, right, so much more now from this experience. I can share a way that this is coming in, to share a way that this has been coming through for me is through, I've had a lot of health issues in the past, and definitely my fair share of trauma throughout this incarnation. I'm sure many others as well. And one of the ways that I like to play with that energy is, instead of going into, oh, that happened to me, I'm damaged now, or I can't believe I had to go through all of those surgeries. once, obviously there's, you can feel all of those feels, but then reframing and say, oh, wait, if I didn't experience this, then I wouldn't have gotten to meet that person and do that thing, and then meet that person and do that thing that led me to be here right now. Led me to be here right now. And here right now is beautiful. And if Eve hadn't taken the apple, the wisdom from Sophia, the knowledge from Sophia, and then shared it with Adam, none of us would be here. And you could make an argument that the world is in a pretty chaotic place right now, so why not? Let's all be in the Garden of Eden. But how would we ever know how amazing that being of light is if we hadn't had this embodied physical experience first? I suppose this entire transmission in one way is about helping us remember the Trinity that exists within us, the quest for knowledge, the way in which our decision, our yes to embodied existence brought us into this place where we now get to experience all of the senses and think all of the thinks and smell all of the smells and dance all of the dances and all, so that then we can return and embody this light into our physical beings and help facilitate the ability for other beings to embody more and more and more of their light. I suppose I just wanted to say, be joyful in existence. Be joyful in existence as we're moving more and more from the fixed energy into the mutable energy, as Pluto is moving with Isa through these last degrees of Capricorn. There's going to be a lot happening through these next few months. The loud is going to get really loud, probably. Loud is probably going to get really loud. There is a way in which each one of us is going to be experiencing it in a very, very different and unique way. And one of the things that's been coming through a lot for me is each one of us is a completely unique being, And the way in which we are called to anchor the light through us is completely different than anyone else. How it's expressed out into the world will be completely different than anyone else. And there's a way in which we can rewire and rethink and re-express ourselves to remember that we are completely unique beings of light. We are expressions of light in a unique way. Just like every tiger's stripes are just a little bit different. And maybe we can glow our unique glow, our unique color composite in such a way that we can help others see their glow too. their uniqueness, their themness, their usness, our we-ness. And maybe there's a place where, as we're moving closer and closer into something that is often called unity consciousness, we can remember that just because we are all unified in a common goal does not mean that we are not also sovereign separate beings. We can have both, and that's kind of what's on offer in this elevation, this evolution that we're here facilitating the birth of. I am so honored and filled with love and gratitude to get to share all of these transmissions with you. There's a new transmission, a new frequency meditation that I just posted to the page yesterday called The Meadow. It's a frequency meditation that came through on the day of the Aquarius full moon that was actually then, through a very beautiful weaving of each of our unique templates and gifts, was created into a beautiful and powerful transformative meditation. Music by a friend in Portal, Blue Flame Portal member, Luis, who's a brilliant composer and pianist. Art by a friend of the Portal, and the door was held open by another member of the Portal, Deanne. And these beautiful beings helped create this meditation, and it feels like that's kind of what I mean when I say we are all unique, moving in this unity consciousness way. Each of the threads that came together to facilitate the meditation, it's so beautiful, came through each one of us in its own special way to create this tableau that helps you journey through the meadow of your being. There is, I'll put links below, and I'll end cap this energy update with that meditation. I put the whole story as a public post in our Patreon members portal as well, if you want to read that. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that resonated, if there's anything that you're feeling about the Trinity energy and the unity consciousness, as we are all also our own being. As you're connecting more and more to your light and remembering your medicine, your unique medicine. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, if that's what calls. Come check out the Patreon members portal. It's such a beautiful space, and there's shared circles and live transmissions and frequency meditations, and every lunar cycle I facilitate pick a crystal oracle readings that are, Deanne calls them light body activation, transmission, meditation, multidimensional. They're more than just a standard tarot reading. I guess I'll say that. There is so much I can feel coming through in these next days, weeks, months. I can feel that there's probably a larger workshop that's coming in that's going to be playing around more with this Trinity energy. And it feels like all of the stories, Medusa and Athena and Perseus, and how they work together. Persephone, Hades, and Demeter, Ceres. Isis, Osiris, and Horus. There's so many, right? So many. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, i.e. Sophia, i.e. Mary. All right, I'm gonna stop. It's been moving in my system, and it's hard to. The conciseness will come to the point and the degree to which conciseness in these things can ever come. Until then, though, as always, and in all ways, so much and many loves to you from all dimensions.